Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the NukeStream. It's better. It is I, Nuke, here with several things I want to talk about today. Yes, like Marriage Causes Divorce says, like and subscribe if you haven't already. um, you guys know where to find me, linktree.com or linktree/nuclear Galileo. All my links are there. And yeah, we have a couple things to talk about today, but it's nice to see everyone. Nice to see everyone. Well, two people, but I'm sure more people will be shuffling again and all that. So, um, but yeah, so a lot of things to announce. Well, first thing is that I turned 35 yesterday, so I am no longer a spring chicken for y'all. I am approaching middle age, but I still look and feel the same. So if you guys don't mind, I keep making content and keep being me, and all that. Also, happy Independence Day to all my Dominican friends. I'm currently representing with this shirt, and it's a beautiful country with beautiful people. It's sad that a lot of things that are going on there, but we are one of the strongest economies in the Caribbean and in Latin America. So, and fastest growing. So, that's good news. We do have an immigration problem now, and we also have a, how do I say this? We have a kind of, our country is viewed more of like for sex tourism and all that stuff. And I mean, I think it always has, but now it's just like it's mainstream. And and yeah, it is what it is. We got Matthew. What's up, my friend? How you doing? King Trust Issues. What's up? Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Duke Nukem, yes. Boomer Nuke, yeah, becoming a boomer. Oh, we got, hey, what's up, Vince? Nice to see you. um, guys, we had Vince on Post Zero on Sunday. We had a great show. We were talking about modern media and how it's all lame now, and all that. And we delved deep too into the history of D&D and why a lot of these franchises and have great creative vision, but they're bad businessmen. So they rely on people on the outside to, kind of market and, for their finds. And those people don't have the same interest in keeping everything the way it's supposed to be, right? Which is what we're seeing with any IP that's converted from like a book or a board game or from an anime to Netflix or mainstream, and they all fuck it up. So yeah, guys, definitely check that out. So yeah, nice to see you in the chat, Vince. But anyways, guys, I just want to get into it now. So yeah, so I turned 35. I did a spoof on the 35 lessons. Because back in Twitter, back in the day, people would turn a certain age and be like, "Here are," like some 22-year-old would be like, "I turned 22 today. Here's 22 lessons." I'm like, "Yo, shut up, dude. You're 22." So I did a spoof on that, and basically all 35 lessons where you got to be the man in the arena. That's it. You just got to live life, man. You you have to stop. You have to stop going on the internet for and not having other men tell you what to do, man. That's all. Do what you want, enjoy what you want to enjoy the women you want to enjoy, how you want to enjoy them. Don't do anything illegal, right? But yeah, live life on your terms. Really, that it's really that simple, right? Um, so yeah, um, yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Just be the man in the arena. A lot of people are there's so many theories on X and online. Everyone has their own little takes about shit. Everyone wants to be mad. Everyone wants to nail themselves to the cross. Like today, I think it was the whole bunch of white chicks dancing in public, and it's just like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of chicks dancing in public. It was cringe. Like they're allowed to have fun, but we're allowed to make fun of them too. So it's like get used to it. Like this it isn't like I don't understand. This isn't like a perfect world where no one makes fun of you for being stupid. You're like you get to have fun and do stuff, right? But like we get to make fun of you too. Like get used to it. Like grow the fuck up. Um but yeah, so Dominican Independence Day. My birthday was yesterday. My puppy Tadashi, he turned 2 years old on last Friday, so that's another milestone. It's a big weekend of milestones. So yeah, he's growing up. He's doing good. As good as Shivas could do. So good on him. I gave him a three big steaks, and he went through all of them. Had a good time and all that. So happy birthday to my puppy Tadashi. What else happened? What else happened? I think Demon Slayer dropped too. So new season of Demon Slayer and all that. Thor's doing better. We had a show with Thor on the Dragons last Saturday again, and he was doing fine. So Thor's rapidly recovering from his removal of his from his tumor and all that. So and yeah, I'm going to start writing a book. So if you guys saw the cover of it, I have a book that I want to start writing about my deep dive into dating and during 2021 and onward, and how I'm going to talk about how COVID changed everything, how the things I've seen. So I whenever right now I'm going through a caffeine withdrawal. I decided to quit caffeine for a couple days, maybe for a week or two. Um, so whenever the headaches stop and I can focus on anything besides recovering and work, then I will start to write and all that stuff. I think I'm thinking about writing in the style like 40 Laws of Power, where I have idea, concept, or something, and then I'll write a personal story, and then I'll explain all that, because most of my knowledge about women comes from experience, right? I really didn't learn much from podcasts. I did, I actually I read red pill content to connect dots, but after that, I went out there and I wanted to experience it myself. So, um, thanks, thanks to my experience and all that, I'm able to share this with you guys and all that, and make fun of people who think they know a lot, which they don't. So, um, what else? What else? Any other announcements that I have? Oh, and then for today, I wanted to go through my what do you call it? My dating thread and all that stuff. But just want to say thank you guys. Honestly, it's been a year. Oh, another thing, it's been a year since I started making content. I made my first video on February 25th of last year, and I just talked about whatever. And I've come a long way. Obviously the quality is better. I tend to be more succinct now, and obviously I'm making much more content and faster. But at the end of the day, it's been fun. Like even while I was making content, I was still going through stuff with women, and I was still experiencing and learning and all that stuff. So like it never stops. The learning never stops, right? You want to continuously, the work never stops. You got to continuously do what you want to do. And also another thing I noticed when I started streaming with the guys, that those guys were all just like me, a normal dude, right? They had the same likes, like Vince is in the chat. I did a show with Vince and Robert, cool guys, and they explained a lot to me what's going on with our hobbies and stuff, and why we're at where we're at now. Uh, and I do shows with the guys post zero. A lot of times we just talk about nerd stuff all the time. You realize like over the years, like wait, these people are just like me. I'm just a normal person. We have our hobbies and all that stuff. So it's been a very good experience and kind of the internet's full of weirdos and wild people, and it's good to be weird, but like cool weird. Not like weird weird like a lot of these people are, right? So excuse me. Um, so yeah, it's just been a pretty cool experience. Got to meet a lot of good people, and maybe one day I'll start meeting these people in person, and we can hang out and all that stuff. So, um, anyways, yeah. So, you know, uh, I wrote the thread around. I think I started writing it February 11th, and then I finished writing it on February 14th or something like that, or February 15th. 100 points. I could honestly, guys, I could have kept going on that thread. I could have kept going through it, but I had to stop it at some point. I think 100 was good enough. I think people were starting to get tired of it. But realize that everything in that thread has a story attached to it. It has something to go with that. I didn't just start typing stuff that I copy pasted from some other person, right? Um, but at the same time, I didn't. I thought it through. I'm like, what does this mean? So the biggest issue it seems to me after I wrote that is like there's a lot of people that are fake that just say things and do things that aren't real in order to kind of uh how should I say, in order to pretend that they have some level of experience or authority to talk over something, right? Excuse me. So what ends up happening is that I come on the scene and everyone kind of is like, wait, this guy's actually done it. He's actually kind of lived his experience. Um, he and the, I was coming from a place not of like authority, like hey, I knew everything. I was coming from a place like hey, this is what happened, bro. This is what happened to me. Like, what do you guys think? So a lot of people took that, and I guess what? Well, it looks like I have the ability and the I would say I don't know the ability and the experience, I guess, to talk about this stuff, and I did, and look, so far so good. I stayed away from the clout chasing BS, and I did do a panel podcast, and I thought it was super lame because it just felt like I was not overqualified, but this was a little beneath me in terms of how business was conducted, right? I realized too that I don't really dislike women as much as everyone else does. I find them frustrating, annoying sometimes, but for the most part, I don't have any emotional response to to it, right? So to them, sorry. So, it's a sense of freedom, and I think that's what a lot of guys are the most jealous of for what we do, right? They they are jealous not because we get women. They're jealous not because we have the relationships with women that we want. They're jealous that we're at peace. That like, if a woman leaves us, we'll be sad, but we'll move on. We don't want to like took a look at society and be like, wait, hold on, my girl left me. Why aren't you guys doing anything about this? Like, why is it like this, right? So, um, essentially, that's basically what's going on in terms of you know why I'm people like what I'm putting down and stuff like that. So, um, I'm still the same guy. I'm still a normal dude. I'm nothing special. A lot of guys try to act, are grandiose and come on the scene to make content with some kind of like chip on the shoulder. I'm like, no, I'm just who I am, right? So, let me see if I can pull it up. Um, then I'll share it. All right. One second, guys. All right. So I'll pull it up and then I'll present. All right. So Let me blow it up because it looks like it's too small. All right. All right, guys. So, um, basically, it starts out like this. After dating aggressively for 2 years in a major city, American city, Dallas, here are the objective lessons I learned. I'll keep adding as I remember. Right. I only thought this was going to be like 15 things, but then I realized, holy crap, my brain just started. I was, during when I was writing that, I was in, where was I? Some town in South or like West Texas. It'll come to me doing a job for my company. I'm a field service engineer, and I was doing a job for for a company that I was working for, and I was just bored in my hotel. It was a crappy hotel for some reason. There was only one or two good hotels in the same what do you call it, in the same city, and I just started writing on my laptop, and I was just like, wait, like now my brain, like I finally, it was like it was very cathartic because I was like, you know, after 2022, I had gone up like through the ringer with several women. And when I say ringer, I don't mean like bad. I just meant like I learned so much. I really had like years of experience at that point, 2 or 3 years of just nothing but savagely dating for for 2 or 3 years. And around that time, I lost all the women I was dating. They all left me. And I was like, what's going on? And then I just had to, like, I just wanted to write about my experiences. And I wrote about them. And here we are now. Um, and that's when I started, February 11th, 1:45 p.m. Yep. So, anyways, uh, so the first point, this is kind of like what grabs people's attention is that there are good women. You just most likely will have to settle on looks, weight, debt, and ethnicity if you're willing to deal with it, right? Um, you know, when I was first started dating in the beginning, I went with an open heart. I said, I'll be out here trying to get models or the hottest chicks or chicks that are this way or Dominican or Puerto Rican or whatever. I just say, hey, I'm just gonna go out and enjoy it and just learn about women and enjoy women as best I could, right? And I realized like there is this weird kind of disconnect in between um men's standards and then what women think our standards are, and they're always think that our standards are way higher than what they really are because they want to nail themselves to the cross. They want to be the victim. um so what they do excuse me, they want to be the victim, right? So what they do is they end up you know putting men as these people that cannot be satisfied by normal or above average. We want the hottest chicks, the thinnest chicks. When in reality, if you go outside and you see the average couple, it's like the guy's usually fitter than the girl, Um, but uh, what happens is that as you go through life, I just wanted to make it clear that hey, there's going to be girls that aren't perfect, that aren't the hottest, and aren't have really weird life situations, right? Um, and if you go through life, and if you go through life kind of like looking at the women online, and that is like what women are supposed to be, you gotta, as a guy, and I'm not saying lower your standards, but you have to be realistic, right? Like if you're a guy, if you're a nobody guy and you're just going out there to meet, there's gonna be women that are a little pudgy, maybe 20, 15, 20 pounds overweight. They're gonna have a little bit of cellulite on their left thigh or something. You may not like Asian women yet, but you went on a couple dates with Asian women, and then you're like, wait, this is they're pretty. I enjoyed. I had a good experience. Um, in terms of debt, most women are in debt. They're terrible with money, right? To them, girl math is going to the store and oh, if it's 50% off, I'm actually saving money. Or they go on trips. They're all bad with money, so expect some debt. Some of it is egregious. You should run for the hills. But like I would say, if a woman is $10,000 in debt and she's trying to be your girlfriend, let her know like, hey, this stops now. Your spending habits, it stops now, right? And that is a prerequisite to get into a relationship with you. In terms of just having fun, just go out there and like go have fun, right? There's Jewish women, there's Asian women, there's black women, there's white women, there's Latinas, there's multiple different types of Latinas, there's different types of Asian women, there's women that are tall, short. The only woman you don't want to the only woman you don't want to deal with are women that are bitchy and just unlikable women, right? And overweight, unattractive women, right? Those are the ones you don't. Oh, and when I say overrated, I mean like you just can't, like, it's just you don't even want to be seen in public, right? But when you guys are first starting out, you don't have a lot of notches under your belt, and you want that experience, just go out there and throw yourself at the game. Like if a girl shows up and she's a little bit mid as compared to her Tinder photos or Hinge photos, just have a good time. Practice. Every girl is practice, like for what Playboy says, and just go out there and live life, right? And whatever, no one cares, no one's watching, you know. And over time, you're gonna get experience, and then you're gonna be able to use that experience for the girls that you like, really, that are maybe more attractive and better for a relationship, right? So, thank you to all the mids that I went on dates with. You guys taught me a lot, right? So, yeah. Uh, all right. So, 1 second, guys. All right, sorry about that, guys. I had a important call out of nowhere, and I forgot to silence my phone. But anyways, all right. So back to it. All women are feminists at first, even the ones that say they are not. Frame fixes this. Um, all right. So uh, essentially, there's this thing right now, especially in our year 2024 of our Lord, election cycle, where the chips are falling where they're falling in terms of like who's on which side for the upcoming big election, aka the battle for the soul of the nation. So now we have, girls with the cake boobs, and then girls that are like, I don't like certain people of this ethnicity because they're ruining the country or whatever um when in reality, the biggest issue is immigration, right? That is the biggest issue right now facing the country. But they want to present themselves as this traditional, super hyper Republican. I'm part of the boys club. I'm one of the boys, kind of deal. But in reality, like if you look at how women operate, all women are feminists. Feminism is very pervasive. It's part of the society. It's like trying to rip out the spine of a living creature and expecting it to walk. If you take away feminism, right, it'll fall apart. It is what it is. We can't change it. And women, one of the ways they try to, you know, change their ways and find God is they denounce feminism. Like, I'm not a feminist. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? Like, and they're like, well, I don't believe in feminism. And I'm just like, okay, well, what does that mean? um and it's like still they don't get it. They just keep doubling down. And we asked them, hey, what exactly do you mean by you're not a feminist anymore? Like, what is the um what have you denounced? What have you given up? And really, it's nothing. It's just basically they just started saying they were not a feminist, right? And this is and you have to understand that feminism is like the basic operating system of women today, even the ones that say they're not. So instead of wasting your time trying to find a girl that's not feminist, here's what actually happens. You assume all women are feminists at first, and even the ones that say they're not. And then as time goes on in the relationship, or whether it's casual or serious, whatever, they're just kind of like gonna be a they're gonna that shit is gonna go away, right? They maybe still be feminists in a way, but they're not gonna be raging bitchy and think that all men are oppressors, right? They're just gonna fall back into their feminine, more feminine side, at least to you. To everyone else, maybe, but to you, they're gonna be nice, right? All right, we have American women drink aggressively. Rarely do they turn down shots on a glass of wine. Do with this information what you will. Okay, so women drinking, it's crazy because women are drinking um, a lot more than men these days, right? And it may not seem like that, but if you always go to any club right now, a lot of the clubs, it's mostly women at the club, right? With maybe two dudes hanging out in the corner, just googling at the girls, right? Most of the women are the ones um, drinking. Statistically speaking, women are the American women are the number one binge drinkers in the world, right? And American men, we're not even in top 10, which is hilarious. And this is because of all the new breakfast, the new brunch phenomena, breakfast drinks. When women go to get their nails done, they drink because they get offered alcohol. Women, women are getting older and they have, they gotta soothe the difficulties of living life alone with alcohol. Plus, women are traveling more, so they go to Miami, New York, LA, whatever party city, and they drink there too. Women are going to raves. Women are going to music festivals by themselves. There's just like no regulation, right? So women are drinking a lot, which means that when they're on a date with you, they're going to be much more comfortable, right? Um, uh, going for that next shot, going for that next drink, right? And so you got to be careful, right? Because even with all that, women are biologically less capable of processing alcohol and they process it slower. So the number one thing you have to be careful with is like, hey, you got to assess her. She's slurring her words, right? Is she getting emotional? Like, I think if you've been drinking, a woman starts crying or tearing up, it's time to like slow her down, ask for a glass of water, right? Because she's starting to, she's starting to lose it, right? Um, but yeah, uh, alcohol is sex fuel. It does calm people down. It has its purpose, right? I did a whole show on this. Women tend to be very stressed and have a lot of anxiety, and having a drink or two kind of calms it, and that allows you to actually see the real her on a date, and she's calm and relaxed and all that stuff. So number four, really important. Logistics is most of the battle. Choosing a bar where you live will solve a lot of problems, especially if it's a nice, fun area. Yeah, logistics is like most of the battle for real, guys. Like I mean that. Um, you could have a great date, but if you live 30 minutes away, it's gonna be tough to like bring her back to your place. Right? That's a long drive. It's 30 minutes there and 30 minutes back. That's like an hour for her. She decides to go back home or go wherever she lives, right? So, in order to, kind of put yourself in the best position and also live in an area where it's conducive to you guys hooking up quicker, faster, and more comfortably, live in a nice area, right? Now, for the younger guys, you may not afford it yet. You may live in an area where maybe it's a college town out in the middle of nowhere, or you're just a guy working in a place where in a regular ass apartment in a regular ass town somewhere, right? But as you guys get older and you want to make that decision, remember that logistic. That doesn't mean live in the center of the city. Every city has several centers, if you will. um, like here in Dallas, there's like obviously there's Dallas downtown, and then within that you know there's SMU, that area. There's Plano. There's Addison. All these nice areas where they have their own little city centers, their own little strips, and very nice areas where you guys could live, and pulling girls would be much easier, right? Because what sounds better on paper? Hey, you want to go back to my place? I live 30 minutes away. Or hey, I live one block that way. You want to come up to my place, and et cetera, et cetera. Plausible deniability. So very important. Number five, as you learn more about women and date them, your frustration towards them turns into pity. Seeing intelligent, beautiful women go through career like girl life cycles depressing, right? Yeah. So one of the ways I could tell men don't really know women that well, or is that they still have hold on to the revenge fantasy, right? And what I say is like women will, no matter what level of game or experience, they will frustrate you from time to time. We are humans, it's just normal for us to frustrate each other. But if you still holding on to this, like women will have to live with their cats and they're going to be alone forever, you know you don't really want that, right? Because think about that. Do you really want someone to live the next 40 years of their life by themselves, right? um that's tough. That's not an easy life, right? That's a very cruel thing to wish on people. So you don't really want that. You When you start dating women and you see the train wrecks in motion, not the actual train wreck at the end where it's like a TikTok video and she's old and she's like, "Where are all the good men gone?" I'm talking about like the train wreck emotion, right? The bad health habits, the sleeping around, with lots of men, including you, the alcoholism, the crying, the not understanding why she is the way she is, and all that stuff. The betrayal from her friend, that's a big one. Like women hate each other more than you think, right? Um, then you're gonna start feeling this kind of pity, like, man, what a creature. They just don't know, do they? Like, and at any moment, there were times where like, hey, if you would just act like my girlfriend and you would have that genuine burning desire for me, this would all be over. You'd be happy. I guarantee you'd be happy with me. But that's on them. The relationship is her problem, right? So yeah. Um, let's see here. All right, so let's read some of these chats. All right. All right. Yeah, Salt and I would be fine. You think it's projection? Hey, pro. Can someone verify that's the real pro? Women project what we are into men. Yes, you guys do. That is true. All I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe, 2 chains. Yeah, pretty simple. The guys were so simple. Most guys seem to think social media is real. No, it's not. The online world is the only world they see. Yeah, no. Hail to all the mids and milfs. Yes. True, social media is creator. Yeah, it's everyone's presenting themselves in the best way, in a way that makes them look good, right? So you have to really think like what is real and what is not. So yeah, uh, women are traditional and suits them. Yeah, that's the basis of feminism, right? Are they strong and independent, or are they um, weak and need help, right? And the answer is both, and it's whenever it's convenient, right? I'm not a feminist is the new makeup for women. Yep. Seems like women are sedated more often. Yeah, this is the crazy part, right? Because the thing is, like, everyone's screaming at us men for our sedations, right? And we don't like really look like women are sedating themselves too. Like it's crazy. Like I'm every like once in a while I'll meet a girl and she's into adult spicy movies. She will tell me, and I'd be like, whoa. And at first you're just like, wow, that's so hot, but in reality, it's just like, is it though? You know? Is it? I mean, for me, I'm neutral. I don't care. But like, why am I getting shit on? Why are men getting shit on because they use this stuff, but like women are not, right? It's because we don't care about women anymore. We just let them do whatever they want. So, my friend at John Hopkins says he is having women patients that are touch sensitive on their stomachs at 21. Touch sensitive? What do you mean? Women are very neurotic. Yes, big son of alcoholism. So touch sensitivity means they're they're alcoholic. Really, I didn't know that. Oh well, hey pro, nice to see you in the chat then. She's looking to sign up the next big RP star to the Audacity network. Maybe looks like a good list. Need some nuclear riz on that panel show. Need some of that nuclear riz on the panel show. Right. Um, we'll keep going. I don't know. Maybe I'll skip around. I don't think I have time for like the whole thread, but With girls that are 7 plus 10, you have one chance. That's all you get. Make it count. Yeah. So, I'm not gonna sit here and say that that I've not let women go that were very attractive through my fingers, right? Anywhere from them sitting on my lap with their boobs out, and I'm just like, and they were friends kept calling their phone. They were like, I gotta go, and I was like, okay, it's fine. Um, okay, it's fine. I'll see you tomorrow, and then I never saw them again, right? Because these women are just that attractive where they just have too many offers, too exciting of a life. Men are literally obsessed with them, so I never saw them again, right? And I've had this happen over and over again, right? So if you guys have a girl that's very attractive, assume you'll never see her again, right? So, um, take advantage. I don't say take that's terrible wording. Um, don't do anything stupid or illegal, right? But like, kind of push for that same night lay because you probably will never see her again, right? You have just too many offers. Uh, Most women have been offered gifts, money in exchange for their time and sex. Sugar dating is way more common than you think. Even the sweetest nerdy Asian conservationist is going on dates with a girl for money and gifts, right? So yeah, this is the one that kind of gets messes with guys, right? Because they're like, no, not the girls I date. I'm like, no, dude, you guys don't understand what the apocalypse did, right? Men are fighting to get in her DMs to give her free stuff, right? It used to be 10, 15, 20 years ago. It was just, hey, would you like a drink? Can I buy you a drink? And even that was a little too much. Now men are fighting to give them purses, gifts, money, free dates, just to exist, right? That is what you have to deal with now in terms of these women's attitudes. So I think that honestly, every person that is dating now just kind of assume that there's some kind of guy fighting to give her money, right? And some of women will take it. And there have been, if you go on Tinder now, if it's not all bots at this point, there are women that are just like, hey, I'm flat out looking for a sugar daddy, or um, they go on these sugar sites, right? And they do it. Um, I've never Personally, I've never kind of done that. I need a girl to like me before going on a date. But you know, hey, if it works for some guys to get laid, hey, but it's basically just prostitution, I guess, in a way. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But yeah, uh, that's just the way it is, guys. You never, even the sweetest, most innocent girl, you never know. So guys want to be players, date non-exclusively, like to frame it, and don't make themselves their own port of origin. They wonder why they fly out girls, where they fly girls out or fly to Latin, and are surprised that the first girl is nice to them. Yeah, this one was poorly worded. So essentially, um, the problem is when guys date, right? They constantly they get rejected, or they do all this effort for women, right, outside of their frame, whether it be like drive long distances to meet them, or do dates that they don't want to do. Like, hey, you say, hey, meet me here, and she's like, no, can we do this instead? And you're just like, okay. Like, all these things where women are just sport dating, they're just trying to you know go out and waste the guy's time to feel good about themselves, right? And what ends up happening, those guys get frustrated because the girl obviously doesn't like them that much. She's just, sport dating. And so they end up having to take different avenues to solve their reproductive problem, right? And one of them is flying girls out. So they'll have a girl that they used to see in college or in an old job or something, and we're like, hey, come see me. And the girl gets a free trip, and she's probably hooked up with you before, and that's how you take care of it, right? And that's so pathetic sometimes. Um, and then you have girls that the passport bros that go that they just haven't learned game. They haven't learned how to deal with women. Haven't learned how to be careful in terms of women that are disingenuous, trying to screw them over. Um, and they go to Latin America, and then the first girl that's nice to them, they just crumble. Like their frame, everything crumbles, right? So Basically, what I'm trying to say in that tweet is that develop frame, develop being your own mental point of origin, and develop some game, and you'll be fine, regardless if you go to Latin America or not, or you stay here or whatever you do, right? Uh, game is more about what not to say than what to say, and appropriateness, self awareness is key, right? So, in terms of like game, was learned charisma. Um, obviously lines work and certain things work, right? But at a certain point, you're gonna have to kind of it's like an art, right? You're gonna have to like use your flow state. You're gonna get into a flow state with women. You're going to start really enjoying banter with women. That's a good place to be in terms of talking to women. So what you really want to do is think, what are things what you want to know is the boundaries, right, of the game, right? Like a sports field. You want to know where you're not supposed to step, where you're not supposed to go back. Like right in basketball, you're not supposed to obviously go out of bounds the square. You're not supposed to stay 3 seconds under the hoop. You're not supposed to there's no back court, right? That once you pass that court, you can't take the ball and dribble behind that, right? There are certain things you have to do at certain times, right? You just want to know what things not to say uh, in those situations, right? Like obviously there's the politics, there's the talking about exes, there's all that, right? But there's other things that you shouldn't say either, right? And you should learn that over time. I can give you an example. It's one thing like the COVID stuff, right? Don't talk about that, right? Um, Most people have a very emotional kind of relationship with that time in their life because there was a lot of people's lives got flipped upside down. They lost family members, they lost jobs. So that's something you don't want to talk about. Keep that, kind of separate. And if you guys do find yourself, if she does push to talk about that, lie or just say, show a lot of compassion and then try to change the subject as fast as you can. Right. Um, if another thing is like don't make assumptions about her race. If she's whatever race, don't they'll be like, well, oh, you're Mexican, heard your tacos are good or something. Like don't say something stupid like that, right? um you have to be careful because people from other races in the United States, especially women, they get a lot of shitty game or shitty conversations with men online about their race and all that stuff, and it's kind of racist and it's very unattractive, right? So just be neutral and learn what not to say. So yeah. uh Dating aggressively and being a player did not make me a worse person. I actually became nicer to women as now I had a glimpse into their struggles more than the average man. However, I no longer feel sorry for them. Yeah, you'll be surprised about how much of these guys, if they had more chances and got laid more, they'd be happier and they wouldn't take out their frustrations on women so much, right? But once you start getting to know women better and you kind of get a little window into their life, you're just like, man, that sucks. Sucks for you. Like you have all the ability to get a good guy, right? But you just can't get it together, you know? And it's crazy to see like how women uh just are self-sabotaging themselves so much to the point where you're just like, is no one watching this? Like, are we really just letting them do this? Right. And that's why I came up with the mansion theory about how we treat women and how we really, in deep down, we don't really care about them because we just let them do whatever they want. And that's causing a lot of trouble for them. Right. To the point where now we told women, do whatever you want. And now they're the biggest binge drinkers on earth. Right. Now they're on the most amount of SSRIs. Now they're the most single. Now they're broken in debt. You know, everyone talks about how women are winning. Men aren't doing so well either, but like women are winning artificially, right? We're like pumping up this failing economy uh, of women, and it's just like things are like you can see the cracks in the chinks in the armor, the cracks in their plant, and this kind of like dynamic where we tell women do whatever you want, it's okay, and the only way you can actually truly go in there and experience that is by getting to date lots of them, and you see like, oh, there's an overarching theme here. It's like they all do what they want, right? And there's a range of just like the things that they have to pay for, right? And it sucks, right? And um one of the biggest things that is hurting women is the alcoholism, right? They make a lot of bad decisions when they're alcoholic. Now women are getting into fights a lot more. I see it all the time, and they a lot of times women are promiscuous. That there are women that they'll have one or two drinks and they'll hop on any dick ASAP. They'll hop on any dick and boom, right? And it's just what can you do? There's not much you can do, right? Uh Most men like frame and have to go online and say if you like Asians you're weird or Latinos are crazy. You like what you like. No need to explain to anyone. No one cares anyway. Yeah, so every guy is like, be like me, do what works for me. They'll try to belittle your taste, belittle what you like, belittle your hobbies, belittle how you do anything, right? And I'm not here to belittle anyone, right? You like what you like, right? You don't have to explain to grown men on the internet why you like a certain thing, right? Hopefully, it's nothing illegal, right? But if you like Asians, then that's what you like. You can't control it. If that's what turns you on as a guy, like that's what you like, right? And I've been on dates with women from other cultures, and all that stuff. And then the question always comes up, like, do you usually date women like me? And I'm just like, I just go after what I want. And that they kind of give me that kind of smirk, like, oh, this guy's for real, And that's you just got to be focused on what you want, right? Uh, yeah. 12. I'm seeing a trend in that uh, women have more boyish hobbies and forms of entertainment. More girls than you think watch anime, play video games, and bodybuild. Yeah, so girls are, as time goes on, girls are getting more boyish. I know there's this thing that says like women are becoming more masculine. Not really. Masculine dudes tell good stories. They're on time and they solve problems, right? What's happening to women is there's a boyification of women. They're becoming more like boys. Like that viral video now that's going around with um the girls dancing. It's super cringe, like no, everyone's like that's they're being feminine girls. I'm like, that's not feminine, right? They're acting like 15-year-old boys, right? That's what 15-year-old boys do. They dance like that, all crazy. um if you go to any country, Latin America, Eastern Europe, Asia, they maybe there is dancing, but it's very cutesy, kind of, very feminine accentuated dancing. They were dancing like 15-year-old boys, and that's just the way it is. Like for right now, I've dated girls that come over and beat me at Mario Kart. I was like, how? They don't even look nerdy. They just look like a regular chick. And they were just like, yeah, I just like to play all the time. And I'm like, what the hell? And then there's women that give me anime recommendations, and the anime recommendations are really good, right? I started watching Demon Slayer because of a girl. And then there's girls that hey, they like to watch spicy movies. And one day I was having a conversation with a girl, and girls like to say things just to see your reaction, to see, oh, he's a guy, he'll like when I say this, right? But when I was sitting with a girl once, and we sat down, and she was like, yeah, I like to watch this, and then I'm like, oh, sure. And she started naming like actresses, and I was like, wait, you actually like this stuff? And she's like, yeah. And then you know, she would show me like, "Oh, I like her. I just like how proportionate her body is. She turns me on." I'm just like, "What the hell?" And it's just women are just they're just turning into boys, right? Like grown men, we don't get together and discuss our favorite adult actresses. We kind of keep that to ourselves, or we don't watch it at all, right? We got other things to do. But boys, they get together and they argue and are pretty open about what they like. So it's like at the end of the day, they're acting like boys, right? So it is what it is. All right. 13. The best advice is from old school Don Juan, spend like Patrice O'Neill, Chateau Ortiz, singing around for where Playboy's advice to resonate. Yeah, so guys, a lot of people try to reinvent the wheel when it comes to game and charm and all that stuff. Nothing has changed really much. You still got to be charming. You still got to learn certain things. Like Patrice O'Neill is excellent for being your own point of origin and putting yourself first, being selfish. Um, for what Playboy is, it's very his advice is very contemporary, very helpful, and it helps me and all that stuff. So great guy to follow. He just tells it like it is, right? Like there's no holding back. If you want to enjoy women, you're gonna have to deal with the dark parts of them. You can't make this little fantasy that women aren't bad or good or anything. They just are. You either adapt or you get left behind. The choice is yours, right? So um 14, use protection at all costs. Surprise how many girls have STDs, no matter how pure they seem. It's a city after all. Yeah, guys, like right now, there is a syphilis epidemic in Houston. if you guys haven't seen the CDC, which is funny because during the pandemic, the CDC was like everyone's god, right? Like CDC knew everything. But now, when the CDC tells women, "Hey, can you guys stop having sex for a second? You guys have a syphilis pandemic. Could you please use protection at least? Can you please stop um, sleeping around?" And they'll be like, no, we're gonna keep. We don't care." And I'm like, "Wait, 3 years ago, you guys were like worshiping the CDC and following it to the Taylor, but um, when it doesn't help you, you you kind of like ignore it, right? When it does, it's not convenient for you." So in terms of this, I did a show on this. In terms of this STD stuff, right? Women have it more than men. Their excuse is that women's bodies are different and they tend to have more surface area on their genitals. Whatever weird explanation, I don't remember. But the it doesn't match, right? So if 30% of dudes, 18 and 30, aren't having sex, right? But most women are having sex. Uh, but it's men's fault that women are having most of the STDs because we're the ones spreading them. It's just like it doesn't jive. It's just women are having more sex, therefore they have more STDs. That's just really that simple. So, guys, uh, you know, you have to be very careful right out there. Be responsible, be careful. If there are girls that you may be a little drunk and they're on top of you and they're just like, please, can we just do it once like this? You may cave, right? But don't make that like the norm, right? Wait until at least you fall in love with the girl and you kind of have an understanding of her health and that she's not a complete skank that could have something, right? So yeah, we got a $5 super chat. You get one of these, my friend.
Thank you so much, best friend.
X Runner 55 with a $5 super chat. God, unsex me now, Lady Macbeth. She starts dancing like a boy. Huh. Very that's a very specific reference there. But yeah, they're turning into boys. They're not turning into men because men are reliable, cool, fun to be around and tell good jokes. But women are just turning into boys. They're defective men, right? And men are becoming defective women, right? So, uh, all right. It's true that most women aren't attracted to most men, but if she's on a date with you, she's definitely rooting for you to win. Yeah. So, a lot of guys they become hopeless, right? Um when they start dating, they think, oh, all this stuff is about even if I'm on a date with her, I have no chance. And I'm like, no, that's just you watch these TikToks and these podcasts where girls are bragging about how terrible they are. And I like to waste men's time, right? But in the real life, time is more important than you think because people have real jobs and stuff, right? So if she took the time to go see you, sex is on the table. She wants this to be a great experience. She wants this to be the last date first date she'll ever be on, right? So if she's on a date with you, she's rooting for you to win. I promise you guys that, right? Just don't screw it up. Sex is on the table. As long as you pick a good venue and you have good logistics, sex is on the table. Right. And if it's not on the table, she wants you to try. She wants you to give it a shot, right? Like she wants you to at least while you're kissing, put a hand up her shirt, right? She wants you to start taking off her bra. Like she wants you to be forward and dominant, right? And even if she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't, I'm on my period," or whatever excuse, she's going to really appreciate and really like the fact that you took control, right? As long as it's consensual, guys. Remember. Uh, all right. Nuclear Galileo 16. I have not seen any correlation with women's behavior and demeanor and their performance in bed. My 2 cents. Yeah. So here's another one where it's going to be a surprise to guys who are learning, who just learning about women, is that a lot of women tend to be super sexual before the day. They'll be like, yeah, like you'll be surprised. Like there have been women that told me some gross, sexual, disgusting things. Disgusting could be good or bad depending on what type of guy you are, right? And you hook up with them and they're just like a starfish, right? Or they tap, they just like, okay, can we take a break? I'm like, it hurts or whatever, whatever thing they say. um Remember, it's women say things, it's all performative. It doesn't really reflect what they do. They say things because it feels good or it sounds good or it just messes with you, right? And then there have been women that are like show up that are very classy, classy dress, classy look, very polite and very kind and all that stuff. And you're just like, man, this girl looks like a square. Like, and then you take her home and you're just like, holy shit, this girl's a freak. What the hell? Like, damn, where did that come from? Right. And it's just like, so whenever you got to be that stoic, like when a girl's like, yeah, I'm a hoe, blah, blah, on a date or whatever, just be like, sure, yeah, we'll see about that. Kind of have that demeanor because, they talk. Women say things, watch what they do, not what they say. It gets unfulfilling after a while. Every guy has a point where they're satisfied, it seems. Yeah, a lot of the reason guys get into dating this like at this level is because they have like something to prove to themselves. Also, they went through a period where they had no options, whether it be because of the military or a job or just simply they weren't attractive. So they're just like, no, I'm gonna get my time back. So they go out and enjoy women, and some of them are just they enjoy the chase, right? But nothing lasts forever, right? Most people can't be players forever. They need to settle down. They need that comfort. And it will get at a point, it'll be like, why am I on a date? You're going to be on a date. You're going to be like, what am I doing? I'd rather be home playing Final Fantasy or chilling on the couch with my dog or something, right? Um, it is what it is. All right. Best plausible deniability is a dog, musical instrument, home bar, good view, in that order, right? Plausible deniability is important, right? But there's better plausible deniabilities than others, right? And right now, like women, like a puppy, how can a woman say no to seeing a puppy, right? You show her pictures of your puppy, and a lot of them are like, shit, I want to see this puppy, but I think this is his way in. Fuck it. Musical instrument women love, like as long as it's an attractive musical instrument, right? If it's like the trombone or something, unless you play some really nice music on the trombone or something like that. But like um home bar is good for you guys that aren't into music and don't want a dog. Like home bar is really good. You can make nice drinks, make sure it looks good, give a shit about your house and stuff. And then a good view, like I have an excellent view of Dallas, of downtown Dallas. So essentially, I have all four of those, right? And I use them to my advantage. But the number one thing women are most interested in, I think, is the dog. So it's a living thing. They get excited, and it's like a cause for comfort, right? All right. I still respect patriarchs and good men, even more than before, even more than before, even if they don't agree with the player lifestyle. Jesus Christ. So my dad was a patriarch. There's a lot of guys that are dads and stuff. Um, and at the end of the day, like there's a difference between guys that make their whole personality that they're a dad and guys that are just dads that are cool, right? My best friend, he's a dad. He has two girls, and he's a cool guy. He does what he has to do for them. He shows up for them. He does he shows up. He's a good dad. He's a single dad, but he's a good dad, right? And that's it. He doesn't make it his personality that I'm a dad and I'm amazing, right? And that's the problem. Like imagine if your dad was like that, like his whole personality was like that. He was your dad and not anything else. You'd be like, Dad, chill out. So yeah. All right. 20 apartment should be clean and childish hobbies put away. I leave my Nintendo Switch out, but that's it. Helps create a space where she feels like she's dealing with a well put together man, not a college kid, right? This is especially important in the United States where women have these like super high standards of men and all that stuff. The thing is, like, you don't want to have your like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh cards all over the place, messy. Like you just played a tournament or a game, right? If you're gonna have your nerd stuff out, just like have it nice and organized. Like I have several nerdy stuff out. A lot of girls like the Luffy hat and all that, and I have my Tengen artwork up there, and then I have my Nintendo Switch out and all that. But it's all like very neat and put together. It's not like I don't live like a child or like a kid, right? Just make sure everything's cleaned up and let her know that you are an adult, but also you have your hobbies. Like take it or leave it, and all that. And if you have any questionable things like anime dolls and stuff like that, I don't know if you should have that out, but that's just me. 21. Oddly getting ghosted after a date is better and less emasculating than a paragraph explaining why she's no longer interested. Don't know why. Yeah, this one I've been giving it a lot of thought, right? Um, but for some reason, when I go on a date with a girl, whether it be even if we hook up, and she gives me that long paragraph like, "Hey, I'm just not feeling this," it just makes me feel like it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel like I suck. Um, it's better for me to just not have closure in those situations, right? I don't know why. I try to give it some thought. I think it's because when a girl kind of texts you and says, "Hey, I don't want to see you because whatever reason," it feels disingenuous because they're never going to tell you the real reason. They're going to always use euphemistic language like, "Oh, I don't feel a connection," and all that stuff. So it's like it's disingenuous on her part, and also you're getting confirmation that she doesn't like you, right? Whereas if she goes to you, she could be like, "Oh, I just went out with this guy for fun," and it could be that like, "Hey, my boyfriend's back in town, or my husband's back in town, or I got caught up with someone else, or my ex called me again, or I got back with my ex," and it just feels cooler to get ghosted in that situation, I guess. 22. Clubs are usually humiliation rituals for men, unless you're rolling with a group of girls or they're drunk with your girl just having fun. Yeah, clubs, man. I did a whole show on this too. Guys, stay away from the clubs unless everybody there, or you're there with your girlfriend. Going with your girlfriend's a lot of fun to a club. You get a lot of attention. Um, it's fun to just let loose with your girlfriend, your wife, especially if you go dancing. People have questions. You see all the sad single girls just like sad looking at you like, I want what they have, but they can't stop drinking, vaping, and being fat. So sucks to suck. Or if you go with a group of girls, right? Like if you're going with two girls, one on each arm, you're gonna do great, right? Sometimes I kind of want to go to a club with female friends, and I'm like, hey guys, have fun. Just I'll go out with you guys. Just and I did last year, early last year. Yeah, I think around May, March, April. I don't know, somewhere around there. And I went out with two girls, and it was a fun night. I got free drinks all night because one of them knew the bartender. It was great. Um, it was a very fun experience, and it's the only way to go to a club where you're not treated like crap. You know, you're gonna pay, wait in line, pay to get in, then get water drinks, wait in line to get drinks, wait in line for the bathroom. No one wants to talk to you. It's too loud. The girls aren't paying attention to you. Like, why would you do that to yourself, right? And then you're gonna be hungover or tired the next day, which you could be doing better things like waking up to go to the gym or spending time with your friends and stuff like that. Literally, don't stay away from the clubs, guys. Uh, During the holidays, girls try to fast track relationships, even if they just met you, and it's hard to keep up with their expectation, right? Yeah. So yeah, holidays are it's like the female report card, right? Whereas like women will talk about all this crap, but like it all comes to head when it's the holidays, and they'll be like they'll feel that loneliness, so they'll be like, okay, I need to get a guy fast, or I'll feel like a failure. So what happens is they go from hot girl summer to cuffing season mode. So around October, September, October, people start firing up those dating apps again. Those girls start firing out, and they start getting more serious, right? They start like latching on to guys, and then um, it'll be you go from like going on a date October 10th to October 30th. You're already doing matching Halloween outfits, right? And then you'll go from that to meeting your family on Thanksgiving or something, or doing pumpkin patch, right? And then you go from that to Christmas pictures together in front of the tree. Like it's like super fast track. That's all less than 3 months, guys. And you're just like, what the heck happened? I'm just like we were just hooking up, and that's just because she doesn't want to be alone on the holidays, right? You were good enough, right? So be careful. Make sure that during this time, and while it's good to pair bond and stuff, just um, always don't realize that the holidays have a say in how she feels, right? 24. The red pill makes a lot more sense every day if you take the time to interpret it correctly. Sunning your butthole, esotericism, and eating liver do not make as much sense. Yeah, so in terms of improving your life, people are always looking for hacks and little things, and it's becoming almost tribal, right? So if you're into the soul bra stuff and you're sunning your butthole and you're the chosen few people and you're eating all this specific foods, it started to become very tribal. And if you did this, you were part of the winning side and all that, right? But none of that stuff's really going to change your life that much. The the red pill praxology will change your life more than sunning your butthole or eating kimchi or whatever, right? I love kimchi. I don't sun my butthole, but maybe it feels good. I don't know. But the red pill is what really took my life and made it much better, right? Because being beta maybe may work, but it's a suboptimal way of living, right? Being red pill really helped me improve my life and improve my relationships and see the world for what it really was, right? 25 DJs, instructors, and other men who are alpha in their environment will keep an eye on you. Don't step on any toes. Right. So if you step into um a kind of environment where, let's say, you do know the DJ or you do know the dance instructor, you do know the head honcho there, don't go like acting like you're the alpha there, right? You make friends, you get your social proof and all that stuff, and don't step on any toes, right? Make sure, look at the scene a little bit, to pay attention. Like, is he actively pursuing the girl you're talking to, right? Um, is he a little jealous when you talk to her? Like, does he show up when you're talking to her? Like, pay attention, right? Because you don't want to step on any toes. You have a good thing, right? You're probably the second most have the second most status in that thing. That's better than having the first most, right? You don't have to perform, you just have to be there, right? So make sure you're not stepping on any toes. There's going to be plenty of girls, and yeah, you guys get it. All right, 26. The dance scene is pretty depressing. Only one or two hot girls. The rest are old. Hot girls belong to the dance instructor. Basically, learn basic dance, but don't hit your best there. Yeah, I found a way around this. I go to dance nights that like are open to everyone, and once in a while there's like younger women that go there. But the dancing itself is like, it's usually women that are older, and uh it's not a hobby that young women tend to take up a lot. Women's young women's hobby is having sex and drinking, right? But as they get older, they're like, wait, I actually have to have some substance to me and all that. The dancing, the dance scene for me is getting better because I'm making more connections and making more friends, which I enjoy. And while it is one of my funnels to meet women, the women in the dancing that go repeatedly are not. I don't consider them, because I go there a lot. So it's like, if I sleep with one of them, then I have to see them every day. And it makes complications, right? It's like don't dip your pen in the company ink. Um, right. But if you find a place where it's like a place where people dance, but also outsiders come, then it can be a great way um, to source women, right? And dancing is fun, and the great thing about dancing is like you can have a drink or two and you'll burn it off by the end of the night. You'll get a workout in, and you get a lot of it's a lot of fun, right? Only native Latinos have mastered the sexy but classy way of carrying themselves. What I miss most about Puerto Rico. Yeah, I think one of the biggest differences between American women, and that includes Americanized Latinas too, because they're basically American, is that they double down on the sexy so much that they forget how to be classy. Um, for example, you'll have women here that will dress a certain way, very boobs out, as like very sexy, eye catching, right? But then they walk like a dude, right? And I'm just like, what the hell? Or they dress like that, but they have like a potty mouth, or they'll dress like that, but are loud and stuff like that. Back in Latin America, especially Puerto Rico, there were women that were very sexy, but it was just like a vibe. It's like they would, the way they walk, they would swing their hips, the way they talk to you. Um, it's very strange now how it was before, because back then I would walk through college and beautiful hot chicks would come up to me and ask me how I was doing as I was walking to class. Hey, I haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? And they'd hug you and give you a kiss on the cheek, and then you keep walking, right? And that's femininity there, right? That kind of like way you carry yourself. And right now we're seeing the opposite of that with like fine, those girls are dancing, they can do whatever they want, but that's not true femininity, right? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. If those women were all dancing salsa, um, and swinging their hips, and they had long and they were all in these red dresses or black dresses, and their hair was down, and they were smiling, having fun. That's femininity, right? But these women are in jeans, dressed strange, and they were just doing these like dances that you would see at a high school, you know, a high school classroom. And everyone's like, "Why do you hate feminine women?" Like those, that's not femininity. That's just women being goofy. It's different. So yes. Bartender staff won't care if you bring in different girls throughout the week. Just tip well and be patient if they ask. Just say, "I'm just trying to find love like everyone else." Yeah. Yeah. Bartenders have seen way worse from men. You've seen crappy behavior for men. You bring in girls to the bar and tipping well. They're first off, they like men that are socially calibrated. So they'll most like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. He's getting it in. You tip well. You're polite to them and all that, and they'll have questions that like, female bartenders and waitresses, they're women too, right? They cannot help but be fascinated by a man has options and is exercising them, right? And the other day, a couple months ago, maybe December, I think it was November, December, I went out with a girl to a bar I used to use for dating, right? And one of the chicks there, I think she was Lao or Thai or something like that. But um, I never hit on her. She would just see me in the mornings or in the afternoons, walk my dog. And then sometimes I would show up with a chick. And then one day I showed up with the chick. And the minute the chick went into the bathroom, she started chatting me up, just like full on conversation. And I'm just like, I was getting kind of nervous because like the girl I was with was in the bathroom. I'm like, oh boy. And it's just like, um, I would just be polite. Uh, Women are women. They're gonna be fascinated by men who have options and they're exercising them. It's like they can't help it, right? But also always understand the bartenders and waitresses are on your side, right? Just tip well, be cool, be respectful, and be a bro. Talk to them. Strike up a conversation if they're not busy. So, yeah. I see no correlation between a woman having a strong masculine father and her being a good gal. Some women I met come from broken families and were amazing and feminine. Some had a classically masculine present father and was like, ooh, yeah, people don't like this one either. Um, yeah, I dated a girl that her father immigrated to here from Mexico, and he started his own business, and the mom was a stay-at-home mom, and raised two boys and her, and she was great, but she was getting busy. You know, she liked to twerk at clubs and stuff like that. So like you can't like. I think a lot of men put women on a pedestal, including their daughters, and you got to realize like, hey, some people just are supposed to be that way, right? And maybe your way out of that is by having multiple children and then, accepting that some children just may turn out the way they are, right? But understand that there are strong masculine fathers out there that have the sluttiest of daughters, right? It just is what it is. So, um, yeah. Besides a rare few exceptions, women will never look as good in person as they do in their pictures. For men, the opposite is true, right? So, men, we don't really care about marketing ourselves too much. We should, in terms of dating, but women tend to be the ones that do the filters and the angles, especially if they're overweight or and not as attractive. They'll take pictures from above. They'll take their hand and push it up against their stomach to make them look thinner or have a smaller waist, right? And um for men, we just take a selfie and it's like crappy, right? So usually most women will meet men and be like, wow, this guy looks better in person. His skin is better, his hair is better, he smells good, he carries himself more confidently than he would present in his pictures and all that stuff. So it's like, okay, what the hell? What's going on? And then girls are the opposite, right? Where they hide their double chins, there have been times where I've gone on a date and I thought this girl was like smaller dimensions, right? But it turns out her back and her shoulders are big as mine. She's just a bigger person. I'm just like, what the hell? How did I fall for this, right? Um, and honestly, it's just at the end of the day, like women are designed to, they use makeup, to use all these things, right? Um, you don't want to uh you don't want to fall for it. You want to assume in your mind that she's at least 1 point lower than she is when you meet her. Some women are actually hot in person. I went on a date in 2021 with this Dominican chick, and her pictures were like, and then I saw her, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, what the? She was so attractive, and I want to say attractive, I mean like stripper attractive. Like she belongs in a rap video attractive, but she was very cute and sweet. Um, and the booty was out of this world. I was like, what the hell? I was like, I good thing my jaw didn't drop when I first saw her. And she was like into me. Like she wanted to hold my hand and all that stuff. And she was so attractive that I was worried that we were going to a bar and I was like, oh, I have to deal with dudes probably coming like getting at her while I was at the bathroom or away, right? And that's how attractive she was. But that's like an anomaly. Most women are not gonna have bad pictures and Tinder and then show up and be actual. Most of them are gonna, catfish you to some degree. So just be on the lookout for that. All right, let's open this up more. And then at 33, we'll take a break and then we'll go to comments. All right, so 31, you don't want to know the messages that young women get when they post pictures of them going out, even if it's considered dress. Some real sickos out there, right? So yeah, this one woman kind of did them themselves, but like guys are disgusting, right? Like a lot of the loser men out there, the bottom 30%ers, all like that. They just say things because they don't have to face the reaction of the girl, right? It's the new catcalling where a woman posts something cute or sexy on Instagram and all of a sudden men are flooding the replies. If it's Twitter, it's probably worse. It's probably a dick pic or something like that, which I'm so sorry if you get that. So just realize that while it's not cool that dudes talk to her like that, at the same time, it is a good argument for why women should close their DMs, um, and all that, you know. But anyways, um, 32, she likes you. She will watch you like a hawk on social media. Yeah, so if a girl is into you, you will become her entertainment. You become kind of the center of her life in a way. So she'll everything you post or anything, she'll use it as her like to investigate you or and all that, right? So don't be surprised if she knows she's gone back in your profile for something, or she starts liking pictures from 5 years ago or something like that, which you shouldn't have pictures from 5 years ago, but you get the drift. Um, 33, you have to plunge your hand into the filth of dating to find a good girl. Waiting around, saving yourself, acting like you're above it is not conducive to success. My friends delete the dating apps and I come home to home cooked meals and cheek kisses because I was relentless. Like, yeah, this is the basis of the Christ Pill Bros, the incels, the black pillars, all that, where they just want to sit on their dicks and wait for the girls just come knock their door, right? When in reality, you have to go out there and just kind of like you got to live it, right? And the guys that live it, and go out there. First off, you get a better perspective of what's really going on. You don't have to rely on podcasts to tell you what women and men are doing out there. And number two, you get to honestly experience trial runs from women, and it kind of helps you shape your perception of women overall, right? Because like you know there are friends that would get most of their experience from other guys on podcasts, sure, okay. And I was like actively out there doing the damn thing, right? And then eventually, like, there was a lot of days where I just had a girl coming over, cooking, massaging my back, and having a great time simply because I went out there and I didn't let anyone tell me how it was. I went out and experienced it for myself, right? Um, And all these guys with their theories about what women like, what women don't like. Oh, sorry guys, pull my desk to work. Um, what women like and what women don't like, right? Uh, I've had it all, right? I've had Christian women, Catholic women, uh, women from all races and backgrounds, a virgin, you know, OnlyFans girl, rich girls, poor women, like all, you know. So that's why I can write this thread and talk about this stuff because I just said, hey, I'm not gonna let someone tell me about it. I'm gonna experience it myself, and you guys owe that to yourselves too. 34. Well, hold on. Let's get some of these chats. Yeah, syphilis is not fun at Killing Boy Nishi. Yeah, guys, be careful out there. Happy birthday and happy thread anniversary, Nuke. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. You got Godspeed in the chat. Hello, my friend. Bartenders are a way to establish social proof. Your game is a way to establish pre-selection with her. Yep. Hello, I had a chick run a background check on me. I found out because my employer watches that. Wow. Nice. Salute, bro. That is fire. Thank you. Anyways, all right, continuing on. Let's move through this. At a bar, 35, at a bar, one girl alone, probably waiting on bartender or friend. Proceed with caution. Two girls, most likely hunting for man, chances are good. And then three plus girls, probably not worth your time, right? The reason I say this is Ryan Stone talks about this in his book too, and I kind of corroborate. I'm like, yeah, I see the same thing too. So one girl alone, it's just weird, right? Like, you'll say you're at a bar and a girl's just by herself. It could be that she's waiting for the bartender to finish that night. She's waiting for a guy, or she's in a bad place in her life and she just needed a drink, right? Those are the girls that, like, you may want to talk to, but you may want to figure out first why she's there alone, right? There's probably a good reason. Two girls when they hunt for guys, they usually go in pairs. My ex found me. My ex told me this. She's like, yeah, I used to go to clubs to go dancing and see and meet dudes, right? And like, she was trying to, but she was more like, she was like serially, like, she wanted to get into relationships with these dudes. So, but we met on Hinge, but she would tell me these things like, hey, like, me and my girl, we would go out. But um, yeah. So when you see two girls, just two girls, like, and they're both kind of within the same range of attractiveness, yeah, they're hunting for men right now. If it's a fat chick and a thin chick, good luck, right? It's more like the fat chick drag the hot chick out, and you're not, man, it's harder than ever to get past a fat chick's defenses, guys. Jesus Christ. And then three plus girls, probably not worth your time. These are the girls that do circles when a Bad Bunny song comes on. These are the girls that if you talk to one, two of them are gonna block you. Like, good luck. You have to have high level game for something like that. But like, if in terms of efficiency, like, breaking into a group of girls, good luck. Music's loud or whatever. So 36. Some guys say that having female friends is a good way to get social proof and meet other women, but most girls are so flaky and have so many guys chasing them, it creates a whole new set of problems. Not to mention they'll feel strange when a new girl is introduced to into the group. Okay. Um. So a lot of people say that having female friends is a good way to meet other women and all that stuff, right? And it kind of gets you out of you don't have to rely so much on dating apps because using like superficial pre-selection, and this is the pathway to hot chicks. And I agree, right? But understand too that women will be women, whether they're your friends or you're gaming them, right? So there's an unreliability you have to deal with, right? So if, let's say, I'm gonna go to a bar and I said, hey, girl number one and girl number two, let's go out, right? And they're like, okay, let's do it. There's still a good chance they're gonna flake, and then I end up going out by myself, and they didn't show up, right? So the best thing to do in these situations is, if you're gonna use the pre-selection from female friends, right? Just go to a place where they frequent and don't roll together. Just say, hey, I'll meet you guys there, and then meet up, have a good time. Use the fact that you're there with women um, for pre-selection, but don't attach your plans, your logistics to them because women are very flaky, right? And all that. So just be careful with that one. I do not see much difference between the women from 100,000 population city and 20 million metro are like Dallas, besides the women being more bored in smaller towns. Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Women are women wherever you go, and they all have access to phones. That's not to say that there are slight differences, but for the most part, women in smaller populations are pretty much the same. You know, it's not like this big dichotomy where like, hey, you get yourself a nice country girl. I'm like, they have the ability to have OnlyFans too, and are bored and like drinking and like to do drugs and all that stuff just as much as the next girl. So yeah. Um, it's a good idea to be polite and have some makeup remover and flushable wet wipes in your bathroom. Yeah. So after a night of dancing or going out, and let's say things are going well, her lady parts are probably going to be a little smelly, from sweat and stuff like that. So having these things makes the experience better for her. She feels less self conscious, and all that. Also, her makeup could be annoying, So say, hey, you have makeup remover and all that stuff. It just shows that you care. Also, a lot of girls have also told me like it just shows that you're too good at what you do, and it worries me, right? So yeah. All right. 39. Dating has conditioned me to set very little from women. So when I get into a relationship, I forget that I have a personal nurse, barista, dog daycare, personal assistant, back massager, chef, all in one person, and they're happy to do it. Yeah. So girls fall in love when more with you when they do things for you, not the other way around, right? There's this idea that if you do more for women, they'll like you more, and that's bullshit, right? That's what one of the big talking points of this year. I can't believe we're still talking about it, right? But um, yeah, uh, I have this problem myself where like I date girls, but I'm like I never kind of let them do stuff for me, but I've improved, right? So if a girl wants to cook for you, just let her cook, right? If a girl wants to do you a favor, let her do it, right? If a girl wants to clean up your apartment, let her do it. Just, this is how women bond, right? Women have a need to nurture and cooperate with men. It always has been like that. It's in their biology. So, um, let them do it, and don't forget that you can also ask them for stuff. Nothing egregious, don't make them go out of their way. For the most part, um, you know, don't discourage when women do things for you, right? It's like only good things can come from that. Chick crack, astrology, MBTI, love languages, all that stuff is becoming more and more effective. It's almost ridiculous at this point. I think everyone knows what I'm talking about here. Um, uh, so what happens is that girls love this astrology stuff, so you got to weaponize it, you got to use it against them, and it works like a charm, right? I did a video on the most powerful chick crack that's out there, and it's helped me a lot, is the secret language of birthdays. Go get it, it's on Amazon. It's a big thick book, but uh it has the astrology stuff for every single day of the year, right? So you just look up the exact day she was born, and it has everything, right? You could tease it like for like, hey, you should come over and I can read you your astrology, and that's a great plausible deniability, and it's shit crack, right? They fall for it, right? So it's incredibly. You would think over time that this stuff would be less, less pervasive, but it's even more. Women believe it even more than they do now. So all right, girls don't really like gifts as much as you think. Your time and attention are usually enough. Gifts, flowers, trips, engagement rings are used so she can flex on her friends. Yeah, I did a whole show on this too for I think for Valentine's Day, where women, they'll kick and scream for more gifts, but what they're saying is that's a requirement for betas. For alphas, it's just like, I just like that you're here, right? Women don't fall more in love with you when you give them gifts, right? That's not how they work. Uh, love is not like a transactional thing. It's you should give them gifts only if you personally as a guy feel like it, not because of an obligation, not because of Valentine's Day or because her friends got her gifts or anything. You want to give her the gift because you feel like it, and it doesn't have to be grandiose. So Women do not care about that you understand her culture at all. Probably why passport hashtag passport bros is taking off. Yeah. So, one thing I've noticed, uh, when you go overseas, um, and then like my female friends from Puerto Rico, they're totally fine dating men outside of their culture, right? So, if at some point you feel like you shouldn't talk to a girl because, oh, I don't know her culture that well, that's fine. Most women, the difference, or the excitement of knowing someone that's different from them, it could carry you through, right? But that doesn't mean be a dork. You still have to be cool, but just, you don't have to completely, um you know uh fall into their frame of their culture in order, like a lot of guys do this, like for the Asian women. They think that they become more like their culture, when in reality Asian women just love white dudes, right? It's just the way it is for the most part. But you got to be an attractive white dude, right? However, when you go to these foreign countries and you want more top tier girls, you have to kind of like know the culture, like, know the local dances, know the language, know the slang, know that stuff. So, yeah, that, at a normal level, you know, don't worry too much about it. Girls usually disappear after 2 months. They either find something better or give up trying to lock you down. The girls stay longer, or either naive or see something really special in you. Yeah, so it's like the trial period. Girls have this trial period. We're just like, all right, let's see what this guy can offer, right? Um, or it's the other way around, where you're giving her the trial period. Uh, and you know, a lot of women will try to lock you down, right? Most of them don't know how to. They think just giving you sex and eating your food and spending your money is like, oh, we spend time together, we should date, right? But for the most part, the yeah, you have to you have to like understand that women are everything in the timeline, right? Most women under 25, 26, or even 27, it's going to be like a casual relationship. They don't want to settle, right? But anything, when women are trying to lock you down, they usually give up around that time, because they they're trying to, they like you, and they're like, if they don't see this going anywhere, they're not gonna waste their time, right? So yeah. All right. I've noticed, especially after the pandemic, the girls need a lot more affection, hugs, forehead kisses, boobs to the nose, all of it, almost to the point where it's exhausting. Reminds me of of Patrice joke. Ain't that better? Yeah. So, women may talk about all this like we don't need a man, all that stuff, and they don't need a man, right? But they want one, right? And women still will be women. They'll still need affection from men. They still enjoy men's affection and all that stuff, right? The only thing is that they don't want they don't want to give up the options that they have, or the paradox of choice, where like, is this the guy for me? I don't know. So, like I said in my video the other day, they like to play house. They'll come over, pretend to be your girlfriend, hold your hand, kiss you in public, but then, the minute they leave your house, they're single again. It's like they forget about you for the next couple days, right? So you'll realize that because women tend to be more lonely nowadays, they're gonna need more affection from you. How you deal with that, it's on you. So, um, oh yeah, and then 44 to 44, they don't enjoy it much as public. Yeah, so there have been girls that, behind closed doors, were like absolute freaks, love the touching, love the kissing, the booty grabbing, all that. But then like in public, they like will hold your hand barely and walk by themselves or something like that, right? Like, just like they need to get that girlfriend vibe, that girlfriend feeling, but they don't want to commit and deal with the male expectation, right? Girls that get breast implants when they're young tend to grow on them better. Yeah, as women age, when they get breast implants, um, it tends to fill out more, because as women age, they kind of like fill out their curves more, and they gain a little bit of weight, and it just looks more natural. Some of the best breast implants I've ever seen were from women that got them when they were like 18, 19, 20. They looked absolutely like almost real, right? Like, or they did, or I thought they were real. And then you have girls that, or women that get them when they're old, um when you get them when they're like 40 or 30 or 35, and it just looks more like bolt-ons, right? Either way, big boobs are big boobs, right? So, but yeah, that's just, ladies, if you're thinking about getting fake boobs, just get them now. Get them while you're young. You'll grow into them. 47 mainstream dating advice is about 10 years old, 10 years behind, give or take. Yeah, this applies for every podcast. They're not boots on the ground. They used to date 5, 10 years ago, and all that. And they have all these theories about whatever. And then like I realized like, hey, about 10 years behind is usually, they're still talking about, oh, dating apps suck. And I'm like, yeah, dude, that was 10 years ago. Like we're moving on, Uh, yeah, about 48 hours from when you get a girl's number to take her out, or she'll forget you. Yeah, we live in the Instagram age, guys. She's getting lots of offers. Even the mids are getting lots of offers. If a girl decides to engage with you, make it a point to see her as soon as possible. You may even offer the same day, right? Because you just don't have time. She will forget about you. They just have too much choice, right? So have a little urgency, and don't be surprised if you wait more than 3 days that she decides not to want to go out with you. That's just the way it is, right? She has too many offers, too many other exciting things to do. So like I said before, St. Valentine's Day, Christmas, birthdays are adult report cards for women. Enjoy the show, right? Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of like hamstering as to why they're single. There's gonna be a lot of like them jumping into a relationship with men they sort of like, not that they really like, and so on and so forth, right? So yeah. 50. I've been soft launched more times than I care to count. Get used to that. So soft launch is basically when a girl takes a picture of you on a date, but it's only like your glass or a hand or something. She wants her followers to know that she's able to get a man to take her out, but she doesn't want her followers to know that she's actually seeing a guy, right? Because then she would lose clout and all that stuff, right? It's a sad new reality of social media. It is what it is. I don't care if I'm getting laid. I don't care, right? It's just the way it is, right? But yeah, let's cut it off here. Well, I'll do the next 50, maybe the next stream. It's a lot to take in, and I'm starting to get a little tired. I am recovering from caffeine withdrawal. It's like I'm getting like almost like flu-like cough symptoms, but that's just normal and all that. But yeah, let's stop screen. Anyways, yeah, guys. So essentially, um, you don't want to let other people have push their experiences on you. Go out there and experience life. Um, everyone has their own little theories about how women are, shouldn't be, and one of the reasons my stuff is like very succinct and to the point is because I'm drawing from experience, right? And I feel like a lot of guys, even if they did 1/3 of what I did, would have a lot more experience, a lot more ability to kind of make their own perspective and make up their mind about what their relationship with women is and what the relationship with all these talking points are, right? Like for the trad women stuff, like for guys that don't have experience, they'll see that girl, that insane cum face chick getting baptized, and they'll be like, wow, Jesus saves. And I'm just like, guys, like, you guys have not experienced with women, you guys not know women, like her shit's all still up, right? Like that's very disingenuous, right? That's why we don't like. That's the part of women we don't like, the disingenuousness. Like we love hoes. Like hoes are gonna be hoes. They have a purpose in society, right? But it's the disingenuous, right? Like you just got baptized, yet you have like your vagina's out on your Twitter, right? Like great, like choose a lane, like which one is it gonna be? I would like you more as a person. Like we don't know each other obviously, but like I would trust you more as a person if you chose a lane, you know. But um for the most part, guys, don't let the world tell you how you're supposed to go out and experience it. You don't have to do it as crazy, as like I did. You can do it, maybe you have a job, a more demanding job or different goals in life, right? But you owe it to yourself to experience women firsthand. That way you can make your own conclusions, right? And the red pill stuff doesn't work unless you out meet women, right? There's no purpose for it. The red pill doesn't tell you it's worth it either. It just is, right? The red pill isn't a guide or a map to what your life goals should be, right? It's supposed to help you um use it as a toolbox to fix the problems you have on the way to those goals, right? Whether especially with women. But for the most part, it's not personality. It's not an ideology. It's not a religion. It's not a cult. We're not all in this together, right? I make content, but you guys have your own lives and your own friends and your own circles, right? Yeah, don't talk about this in public. Try not to. Especially don't talk about it with women. And all now, guys, online there's a feeling, or there's this kind of like, depending on if you follow this stuff, there's going to be people that are going to be shown to you on whatever social media platform, saying that you are worthless as a guy, that you're not working hard enough, you're not good enough, that you are an oppressor, and you're just some guy that goes to work and comes home and lives a normal life, right? And that, don't fall for that. Those people are truly broken. Those people that are those are losers, right? Only losers constantly uh have to go online to denigrate and lower a whole gender and blame them for the downfall of society, right? It may seem like I do that sometimes, but that's because I'm trying to give you the realities of women, right? And if in order to enjoy women properly and be at peace with them, you have to accept the bad parts. And the bad parts are the ones that everyone's hiding from guys, right? From especially young men. So I want to bring that to the forefront, right? When I say things like assume, don't obsess, that's not new. That's been said for decades in the red pill, right? But guys, it still needs to be said because guys are still falling for it, right? Look at women who say something based, and all of a sudden guys are just like, "Wow, you're a great. I wish you you're a single mom, right? But I wish you were my wife, and you're so base and you're so cool." And I'm like, "No, dude, like, no, she's a hoe just like the rest of them. She hasn't shown you that she's a good woman. You don't even know her. She's just some girl online, right? And that's what we want to prevent. We want people to start, guys, to start thinking correctly, how to think, not what to think, right? Um, so that's why I do what I do, and I want you guys to be happy. I personally can't do anything to make you happy. Only you can. So, yeah, let's get some of these chats before I go. Always answer yes when I ask if I need anything from the store to stack that Benjamin Franklin effect. Yeah, it could be, hey, just bring me a pack of candy or bring anything. Why do you say self-improvement is viewed by women as like we view astrology, right? Because for women, they think, because they look at the world through their own lens, and for them, they just exist and they get things, right? Women don't really self-improve that much. What happens is that they get all their value up front, right? So to them, the notion of a guy getting better, whether it be more jack, more money, and all that stuff, is like kind of weird, right? Because for them, they just get those things in the beginning, right? Men treat them well when they're 18. Meanwhile, when I was 18, 19, I was treated like nobody, like trash, right? Like I was almost worthless to society. Um, so it's really hard for them to understand how much a man has to improve in order to get treated better and almost like as a normal person, right? Meanwhile, you have like uh and also like the hypergamous filter, they don't want men to bypass their hypergamous filter, so they hate it when men get it together to improve and talk about how to get them, which is why they don't like the red pill in general, right? So um to make men understand that, I say, hey, just like we view astrology is very real to them and it makes sense, right? Which, like, and self-improvement for us is very real. Is it the same? No, but it's in terms of how real and how important it is to them. So when women are saying these things like, if you're not this at this age, then you're a loser. And I'm like, I was that at this age and I'm doing fine now. You just don't get it. You're not a man. You don't understand. Right. But yeah. Why choose the name Ronin? All right. So Ronin is a basically a samurai with no master. So maybe their master got killed or taken or whatever, and essentially they're just wanderers. So what they do is they just wander the earth. They take jobs, they take jobs for money, sort of like The Witcher, kind of like they were once had a master and a thing, and then now they just wander around doing odd jobs for money, right? And I wanted to use kind of like a dignified name for young guys that were wandering, looking for purpose, and looking for a way through this new environment of intersexual, of dating. Sorry. So Ronin sounds cool. It's a dignified way to explain the listlessness and the wandering of men, just like because they can't take the advice from their fathers. A lot of podcasts are leading down the wrong road. They have the sedations have never been stronger and more enticing, right? Like video games are incredible now, right? Like I play a video game, I'm like, what the hell, right? Obviously, now they're becoming more woke, which is it sucks. But like sedations, the women are getting these crazy surgeries and all this stuff to make movies for guys to just jerk off all day and stuff like that. So it's a world of just like there's no master, there's nothing, there's no kind of like no one cares about young guys, right? They're just like, yeah, working fine, we don't care. So I wanted to use that name Ronin as to describe my own experience where I just felt like I was on this alone. Like there was no team effort. No one was there to teach me anything. So I'm just wandering the dating scene and I just, it just sounds cool, right? So, uh, congrats on the milestone. Thank you, my friend. Nuke, what do you think about gaming a chick you alpha widowed and putting her in your rotation for easy sex? Yeah, just, uh, this is most guys are going to deal with this, right, where you get really attractive and there's girls that you kind of left behind and they're going to come back because they just can't find a guy like you, or you just alpha widow them or something like that. And the truth is, it may sound like you're taking advantage of them because they're alpha widow you, but first off, it wasn't your fault that you alpha widowed them. You were just that guy for her, right? What are you going to do? You hooked up with her and then you realize like, oh, this girl, you know I really do it for this girl, right? And instead of her just banging random dudes, I think it's better for her just to bang you because at least she has that attraction and she'll be happier for it, right? Remember, women would rather share an alpha than be settled with a faithful beta. So go for it and don't feel guilty, right? She's just a woman, right? Kyle says, "Great stream. Thanks for the useful information. You're welcome." Why the caffeine break, bro? It was affecting my sleep, and I was drinking too many energy drinks, and this is not healthy. So yeah, I'm on day 3. I started. So my last cup of coffee was Sunday morning. So what is today? Monday. So the first 24 hours you're fine, and then after that the headache starts. So I'm like through the headache portion now. I'm like through the flu-like symptoms. And I think tomorrow I'm going to start like the anxiety and all that, and the lack of motivation and all that shit. So we'll see. We'll see. I am currently doing all right, but I still feel kind of like, like the brain fog and all that stuff. So, Dev KD, gotcha. Makes sense. Bry guy, congrats, Nuke. Also, happy birthday. Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm getting old, guys. You know, a lot of you thought I was younger than I said, but yeah, I am 35 now. um, I just want to thank you guys again for supporting and watching me, and hopefully you guys take this information and use it. That doesn't mean that you have to flip your whole life around, but hey, if knowing a little bit of chick crack gets you laid, then it's great. The whole world uh, doesn't like you that much, right? As a guy, they take you for granted. They think that you're just a given, that you're supposed to work hard for nothing, for pennies, for nothing. Like, hey, women are terrible. Work hard anyway. It's like, okay, um, the inflation. Work harder so you can keep up with the inflation that's caused by policies that you didn't vote for. And after a time, you're just, hey, is it really worth it? Right. And the only way to make this all worth it, all your effort as a man, is to be selfish. There really is no other, there's no other way to make this worth it. Make yourself your own point of origin. Right. Um, and If you don't, you're just gonna go crazy. You're gonna always lose with women. You're gonna always lose with people in your life. You have to be self-interested, right? And that's the only way you can make all this effort worth it and justify it, right? So tell that girl, hey, you're meeting me here. And if she says no, that's too far, you'd be like, have a nice day, right? Tell those family members that don't treat you well to go kick rocks, right? Um, you don't have to go to a church which is feminized, right? You don't um have to subscribe to a political party anymore, right? When the day comes to vote, and if you want to vote, go vote, right? But after that, that's it. There's no rallying. That's it. You are done with the political process. Your participation in political process is done. Now you go back to your life, right? Um, and that's it, guys. That's all you got. There's not really much else you can do. You always look for the things in your life you can change, and constantly and understand that at the end of the day, it's you, right? No one can, your happiness is your own problem, and that's all you got. So, thanks, guys, again for all the support. You guys know where to find me. Nuclear Galileo, Patreon. I have a chat on Patreon if you guys want to join it. I check it once in a while. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer you in real time and all that. Book writing, whatever these caffeine withdrawal headaches go away, I'll start writing the book. And Let's see what else. Uh, yeah, shows Tuesdays and Thursdays. It might change because now I might start taking piano lessons soon, and I have to squeeze it in somewhere. We got Post Zero on Sundays, Saturdays, Rule Zero and Dragon Ship. And yeah, guys, thanks for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it, and you guys have a nice day.